Today, we will be discussing Jai Telangana movement, that is 1969 agitation. In our Telangana history, different agitations, different phases of agitations have different slogans, very catchy slogans. For example, if we talk about 1959 movement, Mulki Go Back movement, non-mulki Go Back movement. I repeat, non-mulki Go Back movement. We called it as Idli Sambar Go Back movement. And come 1969, the entire phase is associated with a name, that is Jai Telangana. Jai Telangana, though the same slogan Jai Telangana was given in 1952, this phase we are calling it as Jai Telangana because it is a prolonged phase. For many months the agitation was intense, deep, entered into each walk of life of the society, and at the same time Jai Telangana was the crucial slogan. And the difference between the 1952 and this movement, if we see, 1952 movement started as a movement against non-mulkies or gair-mulkies, and employment is the major issue. From 1952 to 69, lot of water has flown in the Ganges. So what has happened? In 1969, we could see what are the ill effects of the United Andhra Pradesh government from 56 to 68. And all these things brought forth a new phase of agitation that is known as Jai Telangana agitation. And this Jai Telangana movement or 1969 movement is an important phase in Telangana history. This is the first time we have huge number of martyrs. 369 people were killed in this agitation, in the firings, in the lathi charge. They were grievously injured, seriously injured, then they died. No suicide as it happened in the last phase. This is all police brutality or the state brutality. That is why Telangana movement in 1969 was very violent, in a sense that attacks on the buildings, communication network, or many things we'll be seeing in detail in the class. Then deaths of the people is huge. That is how 1969 movement goes into the history as a movement which is very intense, deep and violent, and left a great scare on the Telangana society, as the entire movement was completely subdued or subjugated in the latter phase. One, by police brutality or suppression, and two, by the political maneuverings. The entire movement went into a political phase where 1969 movement could not win over the desired objective of separate Telangana state. Second aspect, 1952 movement started as gair-mulki or non-mulki agitation and entered into a phase that separate Telangana should be there. But because of the brief period of that movement, that could not become as an agitation of prolonged period. But in the 1969 movement, there is an experience, a long experience of the people about the treachery or bad governance or malicious intentions or blatant violation of all the rules which they have formed, all the agreements which they have signed, and the result is before the society. That is why 1969 movement is a non-compromising movement from the side of the people. From the side of the politics, it is compromised in the latter stage. So the non-compromising attitude of the people for the grievances which are arising out of the misrule between 56 to 68 is the reason for the Jai Telangana movement, that is 69 agitation. We will be discussing the origins of Telangana agitation, protest in Kottagudem and other places, fast unto death by Ravindranath or some of the other people. Then 69 agitation for separate Telangana here. Role of intellectuals, students, employees in Jai Telangana movement. So the basic document, if we want to talk about the movement, I think this book, this is Writings on 1969 History. This is 1969 Udyamam Charitraka Patralu. This book is it's a historical document because all the documents, all the photographs or appeals, articles related to 1969 movement are compiled in this book. This book is edited by Tadakamalla Vivek, Raghavachari, Sridhar Rao Deshpande, Sangishetty Srinivas. All these names we'll be talking about in future also, in other classes also, who are contributing to the Telangana movement. And this book was published on behalf of Telangana History Society. I am mentioning about Telangana History Society and this book because this book is an important document, a historic document, where you have the first-hand account of the 1969 movement. All the other books, whoever is writing, is the analysis or understanding of the movement. So this movement is non-corrupt, uncorrupted or unbiased things, because you will be having many pamphlets published in those times. Isamia Bazar Committee or Central Committee of this Telangana Praja Samiti or schools and Socialist Youth League pamphlets, all these things are published in this. Anyone wants to read thoroughly about Telangana movement of 1969, this book is the best book, so that you will have the primary materials. So, I am basing my lecture on this book plus many other materials. So, what is happening and what is the background? I am again taking you back to 1956. 1956, Andhra Pradesh formed, but within no time, Telangana could understand that nothing is going to happen under United Andhra Pradesh rule. So, on 8th March 1958, Telangana Mahasabha was organized at Pratap Girji's Kothi in Hyderabad. Pratap Girji, a royal feudal family, the rich aristocratic family in Hyderabad, supporter and sympathizer of Telangana. So, in his Kothi means in his building, Telangana Mahasabha was organized. Telangana Mahasabha, it was presided by Venkataswamy, yes, Venkataswamy, and inaugural address was given by Harishchandra Heda. Harishchandra Heda, remember this name. This name is important in the first phase of our Telangana history. Harishchandra Heda and Gnanakumari Heda. This couple was popular in Telangana movement and Telangana political scenario. So Harishchandra Heda was the person who gave the inaugural address. Bhoj Reddy, Madapati Hanumantrao, Marri Channa, Gopal Ekbote, all these names will be getting again and again. Bahadur Gaur, Gaur, ACPI leader. All these, in this you can see Bhoj Reddy, Madapati, Gopal Ekbote, all these are from Congress party. Marri Channa, Congress party. Bahadur Gaur is not Gaud. Many books are giving as Bahadur Gaud. It is not Gaud, it is Bahadur Gaur, a North Indian origin. Bahadur Gaur, a CPI leader. These people attended Telangana Mahasabha and spoke at length about the happenings in the past 2 years. What has happened? All the violations of gentleman agreement. So, this Telangana Mahasabha is the first attempt to reorganize the Telangana movement in United Andhra Pradesh. This you can take it as fact. In your examination, they may ask an indirect question. They will not ask directly what is Telangana Mahasabha, who is the president. This is a direct question. If analytically it has to be asked, the question can be framed like this. Which organization is the first organization which raised its voice in United Andhra Pradesh for the rights of Telangana? That is Telangana Mahasabha. 8th March 1958. I am talking about 8th March, another important day. Remember 8th March? We have many things happening on 8th March. We will be talking about another meeting, that is Bhuvanagiri Mahasabha on 8th March in the last phase of our Telangana movement. Why this 8th March? See, these are internationally prominent days, 8th March and May Day. We have these two occasions, we have availed these occasions to organize the masses. Remember this aspect. So 8th March, Telangana Mahasabha. So this is the first voice raised in a uniform manner. Then in that aspect, next, a subcommittee of Congress was formed with Konda Lakshman, K.S. Narayana and P.V. Narasimha Rao and some more people. These people were asked to look into the violations or the injustice being meted in the United Andhra Pradesh government. This is not a government committee. This is a subcommittee of Congress, remember. So, by this, we are having the first phase or first beginning of the discussion of injustice or non-happening of the non-implementation of the gentleman's agreement provisions. Then comes another important section. This is all part of your background of 1969 movement. 52 is over with the firing at City College and Jagan Mohan Reddy Commission inquiry and everything is over. 52 is over. SRC came. We have to accept. We were forced to accept the merger and Telangana is gone, or Hyderabad state is gone. It became part of history and Andhra Pradesh came into existence. But even in Hyderabad state, the NGOs, even in Hyderabad state, the NGOs who were an organized force were fighting for their rights. So that Hyderabad NGOs was an organization which was organizing the non-gazetted officers even in Hyderabad state, much before 1956 in Andhra Pradesh. So this HNGO, remember this word? HNGO was the original form of TNGO, that is Telangana Non-Gazetted Organization. This HNGO was organizing employees. And during 1964-65, this HNGO was renamed as TNGO, Telangana Non-Gazetted Organization. Remember this TNGO? This is one of the important organization in the last phase 2. Sakala General Samme are 4 important leaders of all the employee section, government employee section, were in the forefront of JAC. We will talk about it in detail there. So, the founder president of TNGO, K.R. Amos, was fighting for the rights of Telangana employees in secretariat and head of the departments, like the highest offices of any department will be located in Hyderabad. He was in secretariat and he was a leader of NGO. So automatically he was taking up the issue along with him, Chari, another important leader of TNGOs of that times. So these two people were organizing as leaders and NGOs is an organized group. So I call them as torch bearers basically. So they were agitating against unemployment. Means in the recruitment there are problems of not taking locals into jobs. Second thing is service rules. This is a very important aspect. We'll be talking about how they were being violated time and again. So on 10th July 1968, they gave a call to observe it as Telangana Safeguards Day. Safeguards, as we have already discussed, safeguards are the parliamentary provision which is giving Telangana some of the provisions for better deal under keeping the gentleman's agreement in view. So this Telangana Safeguards Day, the call was given by TNGOs to be observed on 10th July. So because of all these agitations, representations, memorandums and small dharnas, gate meetings or lunch hour meetings in secretariat by TNGOs, one important aspect has happened in the Hyderabad government, that is government of Andhra Pradesh at Hyderabad. I'm consciously keeping my words. Government of Andhra Pradesh at Hyderabad means at secretariat. A GO was issued to retrench non-mulkies from the mulki jobs. So TNGO's agitation forced the government to issue a GO on 30th April 1968. Remember, 69 movement is starting in the month of January 1969. We are talking about April 1968. From here onwards, the ball is set. Now the rolling will happen now from here. With the GO says very, very important aspects like non-mulkies should be retrenched. I read, non-mulkies who are appointed temporarily in the vacancies reserved for the mulkies in a temporary mode or temporarily fashion should be replaced by suitable mulkies as and when they get the suitable mulkies. They have written as and when because they are not even sure by this time also that mulkies will be capable of posts. The GO says non-mulkies who are appointed temporarily in the vacancies reserved for mulkies. So the first part of the GO says they should be sacked. Non-mulkies should be immediately terminate the appointments of non-mulkies as these are wholly irregular. Remember, wholly irregular. Appointment of a non-mulki in a mulki place is irregular. That's what the GO says. And then they have given some time. And before that, you have to retrench all these people. And what will happen? Immediately, the reaction for this GO will be there. First thing is non-mulki's reaction, because they'll be losing jobs, already occupying the posts which were actually reserved for Telanganites. So non-mulki's reacted. How? One thing is very subtly. The head of the departments, as we were talking about, most of the people who are catering as officers, are issuing GOs, are implementing, are executing, are from Andhra. So many departments did not implement it. And in some departments like Panchayat Raj, Education and Electricity Board, electricity means electricity board, they have removed non-mulkis. Wherever there are some strong leadership of NGOs, wherever people can pursue the issue with the government, definitely non-mulkis were retrenched. So as a result, non-mulkis who were retrenched are going to court. They are approaching the court saying that our retrenchment is illegal. Basically, Nalagonda ZP teachers who were retrenched under this mulki class, under the GO, MS, under this GO, that is to remove these mulkis, non-mulkis and appoint mulkis, ZP Nalgonda teachers are going to court. And KTPS is another place which was affected by this GO. In KTPS, people were demanding since long about the injustice to the locals in jobs. When this GO has come, KTPS is also active, and they also, some of the people in KTPS were retrenched. So they also approached the court. And very unfortunately, they have got, means Andhras who were retrenched, got a favorable verdict. So this is the background. Next, KTPS, Kottagudam Thermal Power Station. KTPS under Electricity Board. This was the first epicenter. I am calling it as epicenter. Means there should be some point where an agitation can take the cue, or can a spark can be lit. Once a spark is lit, it will catch up on the area, or it will become fire. So the spark is needed. Like in 1952, we have a spark. The spark is Parthasarathi, high-handedness and mass transfers of the teachers. That was the spark. Then it has snowballed gradually into a separate movement. Here, KTPS is the area which was seriously fighting for the rights of Telangana, because most of the employees are Andhras. 200, only 200 out of 1400 are from Telangana. So you can see, out of 1400 means 1200 are from Andhra, 200. Well, where is the ratio? If you have to see the gentleman agreements part, the ratio should be there, but it is not at all considering any ratio of allocations in jobs. So in 1968, 175 Telangana employees were removed. That is one aspect. This removal is one thing. You are removing at the same time non-implementation of the mulki rules. GO has given the boost to the movement in KTPS area. So KTPS was in a protest mode. KTPS is taking the help from TNGOs. KTPS, most of them are workers. TNGOs are NGOs, those who can talk and discuss about the GOs and many things they can, what you call, understand and implement. So TNGOs is a regular and very active trade union body. So TNGO started the agitation along with KTPS. They have taken help from this. So TNGOs of Palvancha and these people were supporting, and they are also in agitating mood. So as a result, the movement has created a background where things are moving towards a greater public participation as a mass protest in the next phase. So who are the basic pioneers of this 1969 movement? Conditions we have discussed. Now pioneers, actually any movement has to be started at some point or some place, though in a very minimal scale. For example, this movement has the beginning in a small area like Illandu in Khammam district. That is, Telangana Prantiya Samiti was started in 1968 by one Kolishetti Ramadasu, and this is talking about the rights of the people. Kolishetti Ramadasu educated, but getting no opportunities in United Andhra Pradesh government. Kolishetty Ramadasu, along with many students, many youth, they have started organizing the people in Illendu and that area. And second one is V.L. Narasimha Rao, a leader of TNGO at Palvancha. And the third one, K.S. Ramasudhakar Raju, a leader of Teachers Union. So these three people, we can say, were organizing at local level for Telangana. So these people are pioneers and they were creating consciousness in the people. As a result, we can see on 30th December 1968, in a government girls ZP school, that is Jilla Parishad school, Telangana Hakkula Rakshana Samiti was protesting in the school pub meeting. That meeting was attended. Actually, this is a school meeting, school function. It was attended by Pidatala Rangareddy. Pidatala Rangareddy was a political leader, occupied many posts by the time. Then another one is TRC chairman J. Chokkarao. Chokkarao, Telangana Regional Committee chairman. So important people, they came to that meeting. And in that meeting, the demonstration and the slogan of separate Telangana angered or at least was not liked by the leaders who are attending this meeting. Chokkarao is the chairman of Telangana Regional Committee. He should not have opposed, but he has talked, which is very, very intriguing or very interesting for the people. He has heckled, he was what you call provoking the students in a different way. His statement was, he was talking about the agitation and saying that in the past 12 years we were unable to make the implements or safeguards get implemented. We were not able to do. We don't have that much capacity. And you are talking about independent Telangana. We don't deserve it. This is what Chokkarao's speech was. As a result, students got angered and they were seriously trying to put a point of Jai Telangana. So that first meeting, a public meeting, Jai Telangana slogans and a protest before political leadership. We are talking about the hunger strikes. We have two hunger strikes. One is A. Ravindranath's hunger strike and second one is Potu Krishnamurthy's hunger strike. In all the books, we get a note that A. Ravindranath, Anna Battuni Ravindranath's hunger strike, indefinite hunger strike, was the first hunger strike. But some of the sources are talking about Potu Krishnamurthy started his hunger strike just 1 or 2 days before Ravindranath at Palvancha, and this indefinite hunger strike, that is why I said it is unclear. We have two sources, two basic points. One is it started already before 8th January itself. Second thing is it was started on 12th. Most of the books are giving as 12th. So in Telugu Academy book there is no date. I think on 12th Potu Krishnamurthy's date is not there. So if at all it is being asked, consider before 8th or 12th. But I think in most of the examinations you may better go for Potu Krishnamurthy hunger strike on 12th. But many of the historians who are seriously working on history, Telangana history, discussed and they said this is wrong. Potu Krishnamurthy was the first man who has sought an indefinite hunger strike. So what was his demand? His demand was removal of non-mulkies in KTPS. Removal of non-mulkies in KTPS. Because mulkies were the people who gave the land to them. But unfortunately, though these people have sacrificed their land for the sake of KTPS, they are not getting jobs. So the right of the mulkies, right of the natives, right of the locals is much, much more important in this aspect. So this is about KTPS and Potu Krishnamurthy. Potu Krishnamurthy was also continuing strike, this indefinite hunger strike, post 20s, 21, 22. So this is very important. So Potu Krishnamurthy hunger strike at Palvancha, KTPS. Then Ravindranath, Anna Battuni Ravindranath fast begins on 8th January 1969. Actually, why Anna Battuni Ravindranath has sat on hunger strike? See, the consciousness given by the leaders of NGOs or our Prantiya Samiti leaders. So gradually what is happening, people are ready to fight for the state, come out into open as a political demand, not just a political demand, arm-chained demand. You are serious about formation of Telangana. You are serious about making Telangana a separate state. So that slogans of 8th, when he was coming into the meeting, he was on the jeep and Kavirajamurthy, another prominent leader, was there, and this procession came and he sat on hunger strike. When he has sat on hunger strike, now this is the focal point. From here, you can expect the radiation of the movement. I am speaking radiation, means there should be some point of reference which you will show and continue the movement. Rabindranath's fast unto death has created such opportunity that everything in the movement, like hartals or political demands or resolutions, are revolving around Rabindranath's fast till he withdrew from the past. So almost for 12 days, Rabindranath's fast was a thing which was bringing forth many aspects and making a change. So that way, remember Annabattuni Rabindranath as the person who sat on indefinite hunger strike on 8th January. To show solidarity with this Rabindranath's hunger strike, many organizations came forward because these people were staunch Telanganites but having no bigger voice. So like Telangana Rakshanala Udyama Samiti, then T. Purushottam Rao, he was the president of this. T. Purushottam Rao, remember this name, Telangana Rakshanala Udyama Samiti. Such names can be given in bits or it can be asked to match the following. Then CPI MLA Razab Ali. Razab Ali was the CPI MLA from Khammam, and Kavirajamurthy, vice chairman of Khammam municipality. Warangal students, all these people came to Rabindranath's fast site and expressed their solidarity. Thus, now a center has been started. Talk about that movement, talk about that center, and you continue the movement like this. In support of Rabindranath, in Warangal, on 8th January, there was a big hartal. On 9th January, there was public meeting. And this public meeting made some resolutions. What were the resolutions? Very important, remember. Remove non-mulkies, appoint mulkies. This is a demand, a basic demand. And you have got already gentleman's agreement as the criteria to make justice for the Telangana people. So remove non-mulkies and appoint cut. So remove non-mulkies, appoint mulkies. Next aspect, inquiry into fake certificates. All the certificates which were issued should be inquired so that the fake certificates, the persons with fake certificates can be identified and you can deny the job to him. Then assurance to implement the gentleman's agreement. The points which were discussed in gentleman's agreement should be implemented. This solid and proper assurance they wanted to get from the government. Then redesign Pochampad as a major project. Pochampad was a major project, but what has happened? Pochampad became a medium project with lesser targets, lesser adequate area and no allocations, as we have seen in another chapters. So redesign Pochampad as a major project is another demand. High-level committee to assess Telangana surplus is another point. What is this high-level committee? It is not any local political committee, but experts committee to assess the surplus or to assess Telangana's surplus. Once you understand Telangana surplus, you can force the government to shed all that to benefit the people of Telangana in the way of investing or allocating to. There were protests at Hyderabad. Rabindranath's meeting, Khammam. Now Khammam is the center, epicenter as I called. Now protests are spread everywhere. As we have seen, Warangal already they have joined the movement by making a hartal and bandh and procession. On 12th January in Hyderabad, Mallikarjun is coming into the picture. Mallikarjun, OU Students Union General Secretary. He demanded a separate state. Part of the protest, part of the movement, we'll be talking about the problems or contradiction in the student movement. But the student movement is one of the important section which has started the movement in 1969 with a thorough zeal, vigor, and with solid, what you call, understanding of the injustice. The understanding of injustice, I'll explain further within no time. After some time, after a few minutes, I'll be explaining the injustices they are talking about. They have taken a procession from Usmania University to Nizam College, and this procession was very important. In this procession, many important leaders of next phase, national stature, like Jayapal Reddy, K. Keshav Rao, or Venkatram Reddy, all student leaders in 1969, they were in the movement. Narasimha Reddy, another important leader today, was part of the socialist movement, and he was also participating in this protest march.